All right, let's jump right into this explainer. We're tackling the ultimate dream today, the realistic roadmap to 10 crores, completely decoding that 100x wealth journey. You hear it everywhere, right? How do I turn a small nest egg into serious generational wealth? Well, today we're going to look at actual data and insights from top fund managers to map out this exact path, step by step.
So, how exactly do you turn 10 lakhs into 10 crores in the stock market? It's the classic 100x quest. But hey, if you're tuning in expecting some secret small cap stock tip or a magical ticker symbol to get you started today, well, the reality from these industry veterans is probably going to surprise you.
Consider this quote. The first 1 crore is not going to come from markets. It's going to come from your profession. This absolutely hits the nail on the head and forms our core thesis today. That whole myth of the overnight market millionaire, it completely shatters when you put it up against the gritty reality of the professional grind. To get the initial capital you need to truly compound your wealth, your personal professional growth is the absolute engine.
So let's break this down. Phase 1, earning your first crore. Let's look at a pretty wild, real-life story from a joint CEO who built his wealth totally from scratch. Back in 2004, he deliberately left his comfort zone, a super lucrative teaching gig in Mysore pulling in a lakh a month, to take a grinding corporate job at ABN AMRO Bank for just 9,300 rupees a month. I mean, people literally told him to see a psychiatrist. But he did it intentionally. He was prioritizing long-term career capital and skill acquisition over a fat, comfortable paycheck.
And the sheer manual effort required here, it's staggering. You really have to put in those grueling hours when absolutely nobody else is watching. We're talking extreme graveyard shifts from 11:12 p.m. to 3 a.m. It got so intense that he was actually falsely accused of stealing a laptop simply because he was the only guy consistently in the office, grinding away at those crazy early morning hours.
The kicker here is that he didn't start with some massive trust fund or privilege. He actually kicked off his financial journey having to clear a -1 crore loan from his father. It completely proves the point. The true foundation of your wealth map is forged through professional sweat and relentless career growth, for sure. It's not about casual stock picking. You literally have to earn the right to invest.
Moving on to phase 2, surviving the FOMO trap.
Okay, so once you've sweated it out and finally secured that first crore, you hit a massive psychological hurdle. This is where so many people completely derail. Instead of just letting their money quietly compound through simple math over a decade or so, people hit that milestone and, well, they get bored. They start chasing the thrill, doing fancy FOMO stuff, speculating on crypto, trading incredibly complex derivatives, and honestly, losing the professional focus that got them to their first milestone in the first place. And this lack of discipline, it's the final nail in the coffin. We see it all the time. Investors wiping out their hard-earned foundation and watching their net worth plummet right back down to 50 or 60 lakhs. Getting to a crore takes monumental effort, but holding onto it requires intense emotional discipline. Which brings us to phase 3, scaling through deep conviction. If you actually survive that FOMO trap, taking your wealth from 1 to 10 crores demands extreme financial diligence. You really can't just buy and hold blindly in today's market. Get this, a massive US study showed that if you bought every single IPO and just held it forever, a measly 4% of those companies actually beat a risk-free bank deposit over time. 4%. The vast majority simply destroy value. This data perfectly illustrates why market context is absolutely crucial. Over in the US, the market is actually shrinking, going from 8,000 down to about 3,500 listed companies, which makes passive indexing the safest play. But here in a rapidly expanding market like India, active management is completely king. There's a whopping 35% annual difference between the best and worst active funds. If you do your research and beat the index by just a couple of percent, you can literally yield 7 times more capital over a 30-year period. But to scale actively and effectively, you absolutely need the base effect in your favor. You can't just buy into a 1 lakh crore market cap giant and expect it to magically 100x. The math just doesn't work out. You've got to buy into a solid business at a smaller valuation, maybe 1,000 crores, before it scales up to 30,000, all while making sure they're delivering consistent, predictable growth quarter after quarter. And notice the whole concept of deep conviction here. Even top-tier fund managers, guys managing thousands of crores, admit they only have true capability and conviction in a maximum of 30 stocks. You don't need to know every little thing about every sector. You just need absolute mastery and unwavering belief in a few thoroughly vetted assets to generate those massive market-beating returns. Finally, let's look at Phase 4, the ultimate 100x investment. When you're aiming for that highest tier of wealth creation, scaling to 100 crores and beyond, the chronological hero's journey of capital maps out beautifully. You start from zero, or even negative, using pure professional sweat to grind out that first crow. Then, rigorous financial diligence gets you to 10. But look at that final stage. The moment you cross that 10 crore threshold, the most lucrative asset class you can possibly invest in completely transforms. At this elite level, you stop neurotically checking your balance sheet every single week. Instead, you start taking concentrated, heavy bets on your own capability. Take our fund manager example from earlier. During all the uncertainty of COVID, he actually took out a personal loan to buy 10 crores of shares in his own company. It's about finding a fantastic company, pouring your talent into helping it 100x, and being an active, massive part of that structural growth. As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a rather provocative thought. Take a hard look at your own journey right now. Are you obsessing over finding 100x market returns before you've actually built 100x professional value in your own career? Because remember, true generational wealth doesn't start with a lucky stock tip or timing the market perfectly. It starts with you, your skills, and your relentless professional growth. Think deeply about that and keep building.